this is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Academy, and tonight we're going to be covering product sourcing. It's a topic that's near and dear to everybody when it comes to their business and things that they need to do in their business in order to, be able to find those products that are going to make them money. So we're going to cover some topics. We're going to recover some of the same topics in a little more detail next week. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am your trainer, Nicole Whitlock. I'm the creator and co-founder of eCom Sellers LLC. I'm a single mom with two special needs kids. I'm also the vice president of a nonprofit. I have been selling online since 2014, and I used to run a candy vending business. Been selling offline since 2008. So tonight we're going to be covering a bunch of stuff. We're going to be talking about product sourcing. What is it? We're going to talk about retail and online arbitrage and some other sourcing strategies. We will cover wholesale, private label, white label, drop shipping, and reverse sourcing. Tonight, our focus is going to be on general sourcing. We will cover some, retail arbitrage and online arbitrage tonight. We'll also talk a little bit about print-on-demand sourcing, and we'll also discuss a little bit about wholesale. We'll come back and talk about wholesale a little bit more next week, and we'll talk about private label and white label, some strategies you can use for that, and drop shipping, although I don't necessarily remember that. Okay, so sourcing. And I think I am not muted. I think you guys can hear me. Just make sure. Yeah, I'm unmuted. Okay, I just want to make sure. I have to hide the control panel. Okay, let's go. All right, so for the first part of this, sourcing can be somewhat easy for you, depending on what you got going on. So if you're a person that has a lot of inventory, you have, maybe it's not necessarily inventory to you when you look at it, but it's stuff that you bought, stuff you don't use, stuff you don't touch, stuff you don't, haven't looked at for years, for months. Then you have the opportunity to take those things and you can list them. And there's so many different platforms in which you can list them on, so many things you could, so many places where you could sell those items, but you need to really pay attention to the stuff that you have in your house and think of it as inventory. Sometimes the basic sourcing just to get, declutter your house, to get some extra capital to be able to buy some inventory actually could be sitting right next to you, like 2 feet away. So go through your bookshelves and pull out all the books. Books are a great thing to be selling right about this time of the year. Go through and look in your attic, look in your closets, look in your basement, look in your garage. I'm talking everything from tools to clothes to, I don't know, curtains, carpet squares, lamps, things that you have not touched, don't use, haven't done anything with in the last 6 to 9 months. If you haven't used it in the last 6 to 9 months, and it's not something that's like seasonal, like the extra leaf on your kitchen table because you have family come over for Christmas and Thanksgiving, then you need to consider that part of your inventory stash and start listing it. A lot of the platforms, that you can ship things to people, and there are some where there's going to be a whole pickup situation. But a significant number of them, you can ship them. So, you could list them on eBay. You want to list them on, you list some of them on Poshmark, Mercari, some of them on Facebook Marketplace, just depends on what it is. But you really need to look at what you have available to you. In addition to that, relatives, if they've got some stuff, they've been wanting to donate to a thrift store, they've been wanting to get some stuff out of their house, or maybe they're moving. Maybe somebody is moving across the country. Say, okay, do you have some extra stuff that you're not taking, you were going to donate? Let me have it. I'd love to list it. So look at those opportunities. Connect with people. I actually got started just in general about the same time I was running my candy vending business. I got started in general just by selling stuff. I had a lot of garage sales. So I sold a lot of stuff in those garage sales. Now, we're still in the middle of COVID-19. We don't know what the numbers are going to look like in the summer or the spring. There is a hope and a prayer that by the fall we'll be in a better place. but we'll see. If there's an opportunity to do yard sales, great. If there's not, look at the online Facebook groups that have yard sales and see what people are listing and see if there's anything there that maybe you could acquire dirt cheap or free. Free is always nice. If your church is like collecting things, I doubt that there's going to be any church sales until maybe after July or August, but we'll see. But sometimes churches have sales to raise money. In addition to that, the thrift store or Goodwill, they always have things. So that's one. And then liquidation store closures. So if you're in an area where somebody's going out of business, and unfortunately there's a lot of businesses that are closing or that have closed. So that liquidation inventory is out there, something you can grab. So make sure you take advantage of that. Um, as you're thinking about sourcing in general, make sure that you create a budget for yourself. Try to figure out how much money you think that you could reinvest into your business on a weekly basis, so that you can acquire inventory. And you can start off small. You can say, okay, I'm going to be consistent and I'm going to invest $25 every single week. That's fine. You could invest, $50, $100, figure out something. If you're wanting to make more money, you either have to have a boatload of inventory or money to invest in inventory. So, don't be surprised you get to a place where you're determined that you need to invest. If you want to make, $5,000 a month, you got to invest 500 to $1,000 a week. Maybe that may be the case in order to get your return on your investment of your money back. And you do have to figure out which way you're going to, which e-commerce method you're going to use to run your business. In addition to that, okay, all right, uh-huh, okay. Mm-mm. Sorry, my son just walked in the middle of this. So the other thing is that if you're going out sourcing like physically to stores, I always encourage you to keep your receipts. And one way to keep all your receipts is to take a picture of the receipt as soon as you take a picture of the receipt as soon as you buy the item before you walk out the store. That way you'll have the receipt because we all know receipts fade. That's just a matter of fact. Make sure you're tracking your mileage and always take advantage of coupons when there's an opportunity to take advantage of coupons. So there's a lot of different couponing strategies out there. We're going to hopefully be covering a couple of them in the upcoming summit, but take advantage of those. And then we talk about low cost items, things that are going to be that you can probably get a quicker return on your investment. Sourcing from like the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, 99-cent store, those stores or stores that have a lot of clearance, always an opportunity for you to be able to source inventory at a low price. And then if you're looking to invest a little bit more money, buy in bulk, then wholesale suppliers. So around this time of the year, it's January that we're teaching this right now. The Chinese New Year, we're coming up on that. So if you are going to buy from a wholesale supplier, make sure that you keep in mind that there's going to be a Chinese New Year and that manufacturing plants are going to be shut down for 30 to 40 days. So it doesn't mean you won't have access to inventory because some manufacturers will have inventory shipped out in advance and you can buy it locally or you can access it locally through distribution centers, but just keep that in mind. So some of the stores that, if you're going to do some retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, if you want to take advantage of clearance, if you maybe want to buy in bulk, some of these you have the opportunity to buy online in bulk, buy a pallet, buy cases, buy boxes, whatever the case may be. Take advantage of these stores. So, Walmart's and clearance and Target clearance. I was literally at Walmart's, I think 2 days ago, and I saw all these toys that were on clearance. It was just ridiculous. They're clearing out, the toys out of different sections because during the holidays, they push toys into other sections because they run out of space. They get so many toys and they expect so many sales. So take advantage of the fact that there's a bunch of toys going on clearance. Some of those toys got pushed into the seasonal area, and so they need that seasonal area back because we're going into the spring, which means there's going to be a lot of lawn and garden stuff, hoses, things that people put in their yards, things to make their yard better, a lot of topsoil. So Take advantage of the clearance. Clearance can always make you money. Toys sell year round. I mean, they just do. Groceries do too. Shelf stable food always sells year round. But toys sell year round. And people always having birthdays. So keep that in mind. The Dollar Tree and Dollar General, I mentioned those before, Big Lots, Kohl's. So some of these stores, strategically, you have to decide, what when you're going to go into some of the stores. So you might want to write a list on certain stores. Like one strategy is that people can go into the Dollar Tree on December the 26th and 27th, and you literally could buy Christmas stuff at 50% off. But you wouldn't know that if you weren't going into those stores. So put that on your calendar for next year so that you can maybe get some Dollar Tree items at 50% off. Same thing with Big Lots. Big Lots has a window in which, they'll mark down things and then the store manager can actually negotiate with you and you can take some stuff off of their hands. So there's like that window that's typically within 2 weeks after the holiday or the event where that might happen. If you have other stores that are specific to you or your area, you need to make a note of those stores and, try to put it on your schedule, your strategy that you're going to go visit these stores on a weekly basis if you're comfortable with going into the stores. If you're not comfortable going into the stores, at least look at their online sales page twice a week, or you can hire a VA to do that so that you can know what's on sale. You can see what kind of potential cashbacks or rebates that might be available to you and take advantage of those as well. Also, if you've got specialty stores, so I've got here sporting goods, pet stores, uh, warehouse stores or hardware stores, not warehouse. Um, Definitely don't overlook those stores because the sporting goods stores, the sales in sporting goods stores, the traffic is going to pick up around this time of the year. You're going into camping season for some people, hunting season. So February, March, there's going to be a lot of activity where people are going to be out and about, and so there's going to be things that are going to be on sale during that window. And after that window is sort of semi-closed, then you're going to find a bunch of stuff that's on clearance. So again, I like to take advantage of clearance because I can always do something with it. Walgreens and CVS is always an unsung hero and being able to go in there. So if you don't want to go into the stores, that's totally fine. We'll talk in just a second about some strategies you can implement if you don't want to go into the stores. And then online stores, think about those stores that are online only. So you can do online with all of these stores. Some of the grocery stores you may not be able to do online, but the majority of these stores have an online presence. So like you can buy things online from Five Below. Just keep in mind there's going to be some of them where you have to go into the store. You don't have a choice. You have to go into the store. And so you may not have as many options available to you in the online, and you could potentially hire someone to go do that work for you, go grab those things. So I try to personally go visit, a few stores every single week so that way I know what's available and I can scan what's available and figure out what I want to do or what I need to do. Then the next thing is online stores and wholesale. So wholesale is always a great option. Being able to buy things wholesale, establishing wholesale accounts. So we have a handful of wholesale suppliers here, but just keep in mind there's a boatload of wholesale suppliers that are out there, and being able to establish wholesale accounts and being able to get a great deal with some of these wholesale suppliers. That's what you want to do. So I would, take advantage of, first of all, establish some wholesale accounts. Decide that in 2021 that you're going to establish some wholesale accounts and at least try to establish one wholesale account a week, at least one a week. If you can do one a week, over time, you'll have a few wholesale accounts under your belt. And if you're in a specific niche, then go after wholesale suppliers that are in your specific niche for sure. All right. So if you don't want to go into the stores, if you're not comfortable right now with COVID-19, then don't. There's all these options: Instacart, TaskRabbit, Shipped, Postmates, and there's others online, Thumbtack. I'm trying to remember all of them. You can just do a Google search. Just type in sites like Instacart or sites like TaskRabbit or sites like Shipped. So just do a Google search, and then they'll give you a list of what might be available specifically in your area. I'm actually in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so I have a lot more options maybe that's than some other people may not. You can order things online and pick them up. So of course that's an option with all of the grocery stores. All of them you can order online and do pickup. You can also do delivery with some of the grocery stores as well. A lot of the stores you can order online and do pickup with the stores. And so if you don't want to pick it up, you can hire a high schooler who always wants to get out of the house to go and pick up your shipments, your purchases for you, and just drop them off. You can pay them a little bit just to go be a runner for you and go pick up stuff. You can choose to wear a mask and gloves, and you can sanitize your purchases, put them in your trunk. You know, separate them out. There's like these trunk dividers these days, so that way you can separate them out if you don't want to put them in your car. But just know that being able to buy things, especially being able to buy things, and just being able to pick them up, you'll have way more options if you go physically into the store or you send someone else physically into the store to go do the work for you than if you order online. Because again, there's going to be some things that are only available in the store and not available online. So you also want to be mindful of that. And the good thing about some of those is if it's only available in the store, if you are like if you're selling on Walmart, you literally could go to the store, buy it. If it's not available online, go relist it back on Walmart and have that item, purchased through you at a higher price. So keep those strategies in mind. Another one is when you run out of something, you can have your VA, your high schooler, or whoever, the person that wants to go out and do the pickup for you or do the shopping for your personal shopper. You can take pictures of things and send them the pictures of when you're out and about, buy these things for me. So keep that in mind as well as one of your sourcing strategies. So if you are doing print on demand, there's so many different options available to you. There's options available to you if you're doing Shopify. There's options just in general for print on demand. So print on demand is a great way to, you know, keep going or get started in the e-commerce space without spending a lot of upfront money. And so on my screen is a boatload of different print on demand suppliers. And this is not by far not all of them. And there's a bunch of them that have integrations with Shopify. If you have a Shopify store and you want to incorporate print on demand, using one that has already an integration in place is going to be to your benefit. If you're not doing Shopify, that's fine. If you just want to do print on demand can be anything from socks to shirts to hats to pencils to notepads to jackets to tennis shoes to pillows and pillowcases to pajamas to you can do print on demand for your phone case covers. There's so many different things. Your cutting board in your kitchen, canvas that goes on the wall, all kinds of different things. Anything that you want engraved or custom jewelry you want made, you could have, you could sell those items as print on demand. So going through and deciding, if print on demand is your jam, then you definitely want to go through and research the suppliers and you want to see what it's going to take for them to do the work for you. Some of them are more cost effective than others for a period of time. Some of them were not available. Like Amazon merch was shut down, of course, during COVID-19 for a period of time and then came back online. And then a couple of the other print on demand suppliers, and you encountered the same issue with them as well. So be mindful of that there's always a chance that there might be a stop gap or something while we're still in the middle of the COVID-19 spike numbers. But when we come out on the other side of that, or some of them will continue producing inventory, you want to find out who those are. You can go directly to their website. And if they have a COVID-19 notice on their page, then that will give you a hint as to whether or not you have to be mindful or aware of whether or not you will or will not be able to use them. Another thing that people are not taking advantage of, and they should, is, this is a great time to produce content, meaning, do your own book. Kindle desktop publishing is another opportunity. It's not necessarily a true print on demand, but it is a sort of print on demand because it's producing a book on demand. So if you do a lot of product research for keywords, you literally could produce your own book using the keywords that people are searching for. What's the hot topics? So I'm sure there's right now a bunch of topics about the election. And if you are passionate about it, you've got some interesting information, you could submit a book through KDP and see if you can get it published and see if you can get it ranked fairly quickly. So there's processes in which to do that. But print on demand is always a viable option because it has the lowest, the least expensive, one of the least expensive cost of entry. So, finding things around your house, that's inventory. That's a low cost because it's stuff you already have. Getting inventory from other people, that's again a low cost. And I used that strategy actually for about 2 years. Like I didn't buy any inventory for almost 2 years. So it's a great strategy to use just by getting people to give you stuff and you just list it on other platforms. And then print on demand, again, another strategy. So keep those all in mind. Look into some of these suppliers if you think you want to do print on demand. It's a great way to make some money. And wholesaling. So you have a couple of options for wholesale. It's B2B, meaning I could go with a wholesale supplier that only sells directly to me, another seller, or you have wholesale suppliers that will sell direct to the public. If you are wanting to buy inventory, you potentially want to buy it in bulk, then again, you want to establish a wholesale account. If you're wanting to, like, if there are people that just want to buy inventory, like Sam's Club is considered a wholesale club. Now, I will say that their prices are not always wholesale, but sometimes you get rebates and you get cash back, so it works. And they actually have as a club member, you can sign up for their coupons, so you can get a better deal. But you can buy things in bulk from Sam's Club. I don't consider them a really good wholesaler, but again, there's a different types of wholesale. And I gave you a list of the wholesale suppliers. Let me go back here. So the wholesale suppliers, a couple of them, not all of them. Oh, there's my mouse. Sorry, my mouse is not cooperating with me right now. There we go. So the wholesale suppliers down here at the bottom, again, for SMG is a good one. Blair Candy, if you want to sell candy. You can also use some of these wholesale suppliers to get ungated on Amazon. If you need to buy inventory, you can use them to get ungated. EE Distribution, Wholesale to Be, Insco Gift Store, Holler, Dollar Days, Burton and Burton, 888 Lot. So Kohl's Imports, all of these are great wholesale suppliers. And again, you still have Costco, you still got Sam's Club, you've got well, they're considered warehouse, not necessarily wholesale, but they warehouse. So you got BJ's, all of those to be able to buy inventory. And some of them you can buy in larger quantities than what they have listed. So private label, sourcing for private label. Private label is when you're actually creating a product and not necessarily that you're finding an existing product and just slapping your logo on it. This is something you're creating, developing, you're controlling the packaging, the branding, all of that. Okay, so wholesale, private label, finding a manufacturer that will actually, create your idea, your concept, and develop it, produce it, and you've got a solution for the packaging. Private label is such a great opportunity. Inside of like sort of the private label world is white label. White label is slightly different than private label. It is products that are already available and they sell a version of it with no label on it. And so you could come in, buy in quantity, and be able to sell that item with your logo on it, with your name on it. So a perfect example is, for white label, is I think there's a couple of wines that you can buy at Costco, but you can get those wines white label and not have to, they won't have your name, they won't have Costco's name on it or whatever the brand is on it. It will literally, it can literally have your name on it. Okay. So that's another option. And then you also have, on here, we have the private label for store brands. So we have some examples like Walmart has Great Value. That's a store brand. Up and Up is a Target store brand. Girl Scout Cookies, that is ABC Baker. And I just want you to know there's a couple of these Girl Scout cookies that I think I've seen at Walmart where you can actually buy them and they're not really labeled as Girl Scout cookies, which is amazing. What I will say about private label, and we'll look at a couple of some additional stuff on private label next week, is that if you really do have an idea, you have a concept, you have a thought, make sure that you invest the time. Like this is the year to do that. I have seen so many times where I had ideas and I didn't bring it to market. Somebody else brought it to market. And so then I am just standing on the sidelines and I'm regretting it. So if you have an idea, if you have a concept, go through the process to bring that idea, that concept to market because it could turn out to be extremely lucrative for you. It will involve some capital and some time. You're going to have to do research. You're going to have to invest time. You're going to have to make some phone calls. You have to have some mock-ups. So it is going to it requires some time from you. But in the long run, it could end up being something extremely lucrative. So if you've got some ideas, write them down. This may be the year that you bring all of that to market and make some money off of it. Okay. So we talked briefly about white label. There is a boatload of white label suppliers out there. So the best thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on this. When you go to the White Label Expo, and you could actually go to the expo for any, like if you wanted to, oh gosh, now I can't even think of the name of it. We've gone every year. There's a couple of expos that happen every single year. And so you literally could go to the exhibitor tab so that you can find out who the exhibitors will be, and then you can reach out to them. So all of these are the exhibitors for the White Label World Expo. And so these are opportunities for you if you're a person and maybe you wanted to bring some fingernail polish to the market and you want to slap your label on it. Or maybe you want to sell pillows and you want to slap your label on it. Or you want to sell socks and you want to slap your label on it. These are people that have products that you have the opportunity to put your label on, okay? So this is the White Label Expo, and it's got all of the list of exhibitors. Some of these may not all be exhibitors, but it's at least 90% of the exhibitors. There might be 10% of these guys that may be helping with packaging or branding or whatever the case may be, creating the logo. But yeah, you have the opportunity, and help with if you're selling on like your own Shopify store, accepting payments, all of that stuff. But 90% of these are exhibitors. So this one is a hemp supply company. So if you've maybe wanted to sell hemp related products, again, white label, reach out to them, have the conversation, make sure that your business is established because they want to do business with people that are established, and give them your idea, have your branding ready to go, and everything that you need to do in order to be able to launch that. But there's a boatload of them. So just want to put that out there. This is on the exhibitors tab. I don't know. I know that they canceled the expo. So it looks like this one's in June. So there is going to be one in Vegas in September. If you get a chance, maybe that's a road trip, September the 1st and 2nd. It looks like it's going to be in Vegas. And then here's Europe and here's New York. So it looks like there's going to be one in New York around September the 30th, October the 1st as well. Might be an opportunity for you as far as Q4 is concerned to be able to get started with your own private label, white label product. Okay, product research. So if you're going to do private label or you're going to do white label, you do need to do some vetting and some research. So the first thing is you need to figure out the niche, whether or not it's a viable niche or not. So if you are a person that wants to sell, I don't know, dog leashes, because I always use dog leashes as an example, you need to see if there's a demand for dog leashes. If there's not a demand for it, it may not be a market you can fill. Now, if it is something that is nuanced, like, I don't know, neon light dog leashes, which I'm sure exists somewhere, but maybe there's not a lot of them. And you have this idea about neon light driven leashes. Then, go do the research on how popular is the neon light market, how many sales are they getting, what's the traffic, what's the audience you have to find, where does that audience hang out, what social media platforms or where might they hang out, uh, in order to figure out how to reach them to show your product to them. So you got to do some research up front. Then you need to identify the items that you believe you'll be able to sell in a variety of ways and look on the internet for competitors. If nobody is selling that particular item, that might be a good thing for you. But if somebody is selling it, go see what's happening. Go look at their page. Go look at the pictures of their product. Go see if they have pictures of the product in use, all that other stuff. Um, so you do have to have some upfront cost, some money, and I told you that. You need to establish a budget. So if you start off slow and then you just gradually pick up as far as you know, selling stuff around the house, doing a little bit of print on demand, you reinvest 100% of your profits. Maybe you're investing, $25 every week, then you get to 50, then you get to 75, and it's 100. So you keep investing plus 100% of your profits at 90 days. At the end of that 90-day period, you might have a little lump of change or more than a lump of change that you could use to invest in moving forward with your own product idea, whether it is a private label product idea or a white label where you're just going to slap your label on it. If you're doing private label, you got to find some private label manufacturers. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week. So you need to create your brand elements. I talked about, if you're going to ship it in a box, if it's going to be in plastic, it's just going to have a label, if it's going to be shrink wrapped, whatever it happens to be. You want to review that first batch. So if you're doing white label, some of this, you just need to look and see, ask them to send you samples with your label on it so you can see. And then you want to determine where you're going to sell it. So are you going to sell it on Amazon? You're going to sell it on eBay? Are you going to sell it on Etsy? Where are you going to sell it? You're going to sell it on your own Shopify store. Figure that out and figure out how you're going to market. If you have determined upfront in number one, where your audience is, where are they hanging out? What are they doing? How do I reach them? Then this part is going to be so much easier for you because you already know where your audience is. If you don't know where they are, you don't know what keywords to use so that they can find you on the internet, then you're going to have to do a little more paid ads. Not saying you won't have to do paid ads at all, but depending on how good you are at the organic reach, um, you even create a Facebook group of people that love to walk their dogs. So if you create a Facebook group of people who like to walk their dogs and then you market to them dog walking products, that could be helpful to you. And then you want to engage with your customers, different ways in which you can engage. If you're doing a Facebook group, you can do that. You can maybe give away samples just to get some testimonials, get some engagement with your customers. All right. So I do want to encourage you to go back to, again, white label expo.com. Review the exhibitors if you're thinking you want to just slap your label on something and not create something with a full on dealing with a manufacturer. If you do want to go through that process, then private label is where it's at. You're going to have to spend a little more money. So just be mindful of that. Then we've got drop shipping. So there are so many different drop shipping opportunities. This is not by far all of them, but there's a lot of drop shipping opportunities. So I want to encourage you, if you're a person that you want to drop ship, whether you're drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace, whether you're drop shipping on Shopify, do some research on where you can buy items and not have problems. Majority of the time, your wholesale suppliers, you may be able to establish an account with them and they will ship it to the customer for you with your, labeling on it, your brand on the outside. And that is a form of drop shipping as well. You can also order inventory in bulk from your wholesale suppliers that you establish accounts with, and then send that inventory to a prep center. And as people purchase the item wherever you're selling it, whether you're selling it on Etsy, Amazon, eBay, Walmart, wherever you're selling it, they can go, they would order it on the platform. Then your prep center or fulfillment center will receive a notification of the order and they will ship it to the customer for you. So that's another form of indirect drop shipping. you can send it to your prep center. That way you don't have to worry about whether or not that wholesale supplier is going to do it. But there's a bunch of different options. Make sure, again, that you're going to try and have it in a generic packaging so that you don't run into any problems on whatever platforms you happen to be selling on. So there's a lot of money to be made in drop shipping. It is a great opportunity. A lot of people do drop shipping on eBay. They do drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace, and they do drop shipping on Shopify. Okay, so there's some stores that are going to be closing. This is by far not the list, but there's going to be a boatload of stores that are going to be closing in 2021. And stores will probably be broken up. So I know that JCPenney's was acquired by some investors, and so they're probably going to break up aspects of JCPenney. So just look for it. But there are store closures. Write down the list. Write down if they're near you, and then take advantage of going by there. Also, take advantage of doing research on liquidation. There are some valid liquidation sites out there. You can buy in bulk. Some people, they buy Amazon returns in bulk, or Amazon inventory that's been pulled that nobody has claimed. And they buy that in bulk, and then they turn around and resell it. So look for those things as well. And then coupon limits pushing through. So another thing is, I talked about coupons early on. If you're going to be going into the stores, or you want to take advantage of cash backs, or you want to take advantage of not just cash backs, but there's rebates, there's all kinds of stuff. Definitely, to maximize your ROI, definitely take advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to you. If you can find something on clearance and you got a coupon for it, and you're using a cashback card, like, your ROI when you sell that item is going to be ridiculous. So make sure that you're taking advantage of whatever stores you visit on a regular basis, because you have to, buy groceries or whatever, or stores that you don't frequent. Make sure that you take advantage of some level of couponing. Maybe carve out once a week or twice a week to do 15 minutes worth of couponing research, so that if you are going to physically go out to the stores, or maybe it's the online research that you're going to do, that you take advantage of that so you can maximize your ROI. So the least money that you spend acquiring something, and you can sell it for a higher price, that is profit that goes directly into your pockets. Goes into your pockets. And so that is more money for you and less money you have to spend on inventory, which is always a good thing. So I will say this, figure out strategically, if you don't have a schedule when it comes to your business, if you're a person that's going to go out and source products and do some retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, if you're going to physically go to the stores, make sure you're strategic on what your plan is going to be, what your route going to be, which stores you're going to visit. And maybe you have a strategy for which stores you're going to visit 2 or 3 times a week. So I'll visit all the grocery stores on Monday that I plan on visiting, or Tuesday I'll visit the Walmarts and the Targets of the world. On Wednesdays, I'll visit the non-traditional stores, like my hardware stores and my sporting goods stores and my baby stores, that kind of stuff. So figure out strategically what you're going to do, where you're going to go, and then what stores are nearby, so that you can tackle all that area and not waste a lot of time and gas. All right. And if you're buying a boatload of stuff, like you got a case, somebody's pulled out the back, make sure you tell the cashier when they get ready to ring you up. So I hope this information as a starting point is helpful when it comes to product sourcing. If you have any questions, definitely type them in the chat. And we'll come back next week. We'll talk about some more strategies when it comes to product sourcing, and a few extra things that you could be doing to make your life a little bit easier. So this is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Academy, and we're going to say bye for now.